Hi guys, how you going? Campbell here from Autodidactic Channel. Hope you're all having a splendid day. And today I'm doing part 2 of a book that I found from Spain from the late 1800s that shows some really good pictures of the old world buildings with all their Antiquitech on it, and also basically a landscape that was recently flooded with mud. Well, actually recently rediscovered, and it's a flooded landscape. So we're going to have a look at some Antiquitech and some old world mud flooded scenes from Spain. But first, we've just got a map here. This is Barcelona and the Fort de Monteuil et Les. I'm not sure what that says, how to pronounce that properly. I don't think we have a date on this one. But as you can see now, I showed these in another video. I showed some similar maps, but this just shows you that this is a star city. So Barcelona was definitely a star city. You can see the walls around here. Up here we have the citadel of the star, connected by this wall here. Something in the corner here, and it actually comes out as part of the harbour. Oh, and look at that. I have to see if that's still there. That's an old world. I mean, what is that? It kind of looks like it should be a lighthouse, but there's no hole in the top here. But there is a big spire on top, and probably a ball of some kind. But yeah, what I was mentioning in the other video was that this area is now completely built out. All this farmland is all now housing, but most of it is actually what looks to be, old world buildings, red brick. So I think we're seeing, there's something going on with the timeline here. Because this old this old star city is obviously the oldest section. But yeah, this is all now built out, and back in the day it was all farms. And you can see this is all still farmland, but down here they're starting to cut it all up into lots, no doubt, so they can tax people. Just claim the land as their own, and they've said, here's your little square, your little box, now pay us for the free land. Alright, so let's jump into the book, guys. This is what we would be told is, like a nunnery or something. But yeah, just clearly an old world building. Again, we've got these big circular towers, Antiquitech up here. Even just the tiling, look at how they've done the tiling there. Bells, Antiquitech, and of course, looking like a Christian cross. Same old story, got the amplifier here. Got the domes, got the capacitors. Okay, I've got the spires, the Antiquitech spires all the way around. Ball, cross antenna. Ball, ball. And then we have, the crown and the wreath, sort of looking glass type thing, the rebranding. And this thing's covered still. Look at this. And that looks like, I've showed pictures of pagodas in China back in the sort of 1500s, and they look like that. Obviously on a much bigger scale. So everything's, like a fractal, everything's the same, but just looking slightly different. But it looks like they all were running off the same tech. I mean, look at that. Look at that for an antenna. Look at all these balls. And if you run a wire through mercury, it increases the signal. So this is the thing, if these are full of mercury, or even one or two, maybe they have different functions, and they're picking up signal and dragging it through there, it's going to be amplifying it. And then what are these doing? Are these sending it out somewhere? because just look at that, you know, all across here. What are they? Just for no reason. We've got all these bits sticking up, all with a little cross on top by the looks of it. And there's another one. This is the oh, that's only got 2. A lot of them have 3 crossbars, and of course you can see what are the circles on the end for? All the same. Again, amplifiers, blowing the frequency out. And Antiquitech, same stuff. And the balls and the rebranding with the crown. The crown, which is also known as a corona. Oh gosh, again, so this is all, you know, just sort of Christianized. You know, he's got his fish head here, he's got his Antiquitech crook, his little little antenna on the top of it. These guys, you know, what are halos? You know, tell us they're saints. What are saints? What does that, you know, what is the origin of all these words? We don't really know. All we know is what we've been told. And see, these are small, these are large. Are these giants? See little people down here. But just, I mean, look at the work there. How could they do this? It's got to be printed or something, some kind of tech. And just look at these doorways, the way that they do that. They're going off at different angles, yet they're perfect. Everything's just so, so perfectly symmetrical. Look at the roof. Look at that straight line all the way through it. And look at that, it's brick. It's brick. Oh my God. I mean, talk about making things hard for yourself. The whole thing is brick, the whole ceiling. And that's something you don't see a lot of. So are all these old cathedrals, all these ceilings, are they all brick? All the roofs? Because look at that. And then, so which means this is probably all brick as well. It's just been refaced. I mean, I just don't even know what to say anymore. It's just, I mean, it's otherworldly, you know, almost like this is just stuff we don't understand really, why they would do this. But well, we understand a bit now, but not how it works. It's got to be tech. So again, bricks. It's all brick, and which means they're cutting these bricks to get these different, you know, angles and levels and things. You know, like this brick. Looking a bit mud flooded, no vegetation around, and holy dooly, this place was ridiculous. Okay, here we have our 3-leaf clovers. You know, this is all the refacading. I mean, maybe this is the original. I don't know, it looks a bit old and cracking up a bit. But then look at this, what's on top, red brick. And look at these Antiquitech. Look at them. So this is in a bit of disrepair. You can see some of these have had the top smashed off them. Here's our ball and our antenna. So this one looks like it's got the very top missing. This one here too. So these are in, you know, old sort of rough shape. So this is almost, these pictures look like they're almost before they were fixed up again, but they've already got the you know, this sort of facing on them. So I mean, that's not too Phoenician, but well, actually that is what we're calling Phoenician. You know, so what I'm wondering is the timeline, and clearly that's not flat. That's flooded. So, you know, was there a civilization that got taken over and then re-facaded by the parasites, and then there was a flood, because all this stuff seems to be there first. I've also noticed cobblestone streets, where you have a mud flooded building and you have an old world cobblestone street paved outside to the level, of the mud flood. So there's something going on weird. It's not making sense at all. We're missing something, some timeline thing. Again, I mean, this is just, just the angles. I mean, the work to construct this is just ridiculous. Okay, so we've got wings open. Okay, and the crosses in the middle, which are the same as the antennas we've seen. Charge antenna, is that somehow bringing something down? Again, we have these silly clock type things. I don't know. Because that's the altar, right? Where things are altered. How are they altered? That could be, in any city in the world. I have no idea what this is. Looks like the doorway to nowhere, made out of metal. Look at this wire going up here. Okay, so that's definitely what we would call Moorish. So look at this intricate, and this is different really to the Phoenician type stuff. But it could be the same, because as you can see, it's just been added in bits. Now these are Ouroboruses. Not sure, but these archways, look at these. This is a very, what we call Moorish feature, where you have the pillars and then you have this big circle on top. But why so many? Why do you need, that's not to hold the roof up, because we know they had the tech and the skill to hold roofs up without having all these pillars everywhere. So, what is this? That's why I think these things are machines. Again, one of these huge doors, and they've had to cut a mini door in there because it's just so ridiculously oversized. Look at these, just completely covered. Or got the face of Pan there by the looks of it. One of the trickster gods. That looks kind of Hindu, that doesn't it? Oh, is that a crack? Yeah, right. There's a big crack through there, through the facade, and there too. So is that an ad that's breaking off? Because you can see there's a break there too, sort of coming out in one big piece. These are the angels saying, no, we own this stuff now. This is the top of the portal. They're all holding onto their antenna to get charged, maybe, to get through the portal. Who knows? All these people emerging from porticos and portals. And here's the shell, half shell up top. The scrolly bits. It's just all the same. All the same, but not our same. Again, where are the trees? Where's the vegetation? Mud flood, anyone? And look at the size of this building. And of course, it's a photo op for these people who are just sitting in the middle of nowhere. Outside this, quite obviously vacant building with this huge dome on the top. And of course, here we go. Christian cross antenna. Domes, capacitors, domes, portals, balls all the way around. Up here, got the balls, got our statues. And are the statues telling us what the function is? Are they telling us something? And I don't know if it's mud flooded. This looks like a wall around there, but see how this looks like it's a level going up? hole sort of around there. And out the front, so that could be flooded too. It looks like it goes up there. But that's quite a big building to build, you know, just for 3 people to sit in front of when it's clearly empty. Clearly they're just finding these things. Looks like we're back in the mountains, and again, you know, look at all this construction work out in the mountain because it's so easy to do, and then into a tunnel straight through solid rock. And it looks like someone's built a house just up on the side of the mountain here. This one looks half covered. So there we go. Oh, holy dooly. I mean, come on. This is just mad. And you can sort of start to see on these buildings that all this kind of stuff looks like an ad. This facade, you know, this stuff, whereas all this, I mean, that's brick by the looks of it, is all part of the original structure, and they've just really just rebranded it, refaced it, you know, the face ad. And again, we get this with these knobbly bits coming off them. They're everywhere. And this seems to have been a feature of quite a few buildings, and it's been ripped off most of them. Here's another cross antenna on top of a dome, on top of another dome, and look at all this. This looks like what they try and explain away as swinging buttresses, doesn't it? But clearly that's not for construction purposes, you know, that's for something else. And I mean, I don't even know what to say about this place. More Antiquitech balls. And again, this, you know, the whole thing, you know, we've got the antenna, the ball, the dome, the capacitor thing, more balls, you know, these containers, plant potty things, arches. Oh, and of course bollards. All around the outside, around the outside. Ooh, so that's definitely what we would call, whoops, a Moorish doorway, but someone didn't like it. Oh no, that's a door. I thought it was bricked up. But that's actually a door. Is that metal? Who knows? Oh yes, that's a Moorish doorway. And just, I mean, just for the doorway, look what they've done. Why? You know, it's just funny. The story we get is that when there was the least amount of people with the least amount of skills and resources, they built, you know, the most amazing things that we have in this realm. This book is pretty cool. Just Antiquitech everywhere. It's just so intricate. I'll leave the link so you can go check it out yourself as well. Whoops. There we go. This is metal. And we see lots of these kind of metal, you know, I don't know, what are they? They're like, you know, stands, metal stands. They don't really seem to have a purpose, but there's lots of sort of metal stands and things, and you know, people turn them into light lamps and things like this. And look at these faces. This again looks like the Pan kind of figure. You know, I've got the, looks like he's got horns and he's got his beard. These rings, we see that. Remember they used to put these on doors a lot, didn't they? Lion's head with the big ring. Don't see it so much anymore. Actually, is this, I think it's metal, maybe it's wood. I mean, even if that's, you know, how did they carve it? Maybe that's put together. Can't have been carved in one piece. And then this, just, it's always the same. And here we have two angels with open wings. And then up the top, have the portal, have the crosses. I mean, look at this. Up the top we have, not sure, looks like an angel with closed wings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What's that? 15. So it's not the 12 apostles. But someone's coming through the portal. More Moorish, and again, this is the sort of Moorish art. See how it's very geometric and symmetrical, and it, most of it's tiling. This is that awesome tiling. You see, that's very brightly coloured. A lot of people call it Moroccan. But a lot of work. I mean, just look at this. If that doesn't have a function, why would you do it? Because that's a lot of work. Okay, that's completely see-through. So those holes go through. Look at that wall. So that's not solid. See how thick it is, but those holes look like they go the whole way through. And of course, glass windows, huge glass windows, clearly made to be glass windows. But if you look into glass, this could be 1870s, 1860s. There wasn't that much plate glass around, guys. There really wasn't. They couldn't make big sheets of it. So why were they building buildings that needed big sheet? That needed materials that hadn't been invented. This guy's spurting some water out. They look to be retrofitted, don't they? There's a few pipes sort of shoved in there. It's not really the way the old world did it. They did it more like this. Just perfectness. What have we got there? Upside down fish people. Wow. And here's someone with his Antiquitech helmet, keeping guard. Oh, so this is just like a Roman helmet. And is this, I don't know, where we get feather in his cap from? Because, again, they were just so ornate. They don't look like they were made to protect you. You look at a helmet from World War II, and they're not ornate at all. Look at all this, and they sort of tell us, oh, this is, to give them power and to, connect with the gods and all this. But really, I mean, after you'd spent 100 hours making a helmet like that, and someone went out and died in the first 5 minutes, after that happened a few times, you might not keep making them. Unless there was another function. Again, horse and carts outside this building. I mean, it's just, the juxtaposition is ridiculous. Look at the size of the people. These people are obviously moving, and this is a slow exposure. But you can see the size. They come up here. Look at the size of this door. Who was this building even built for? Same thing. Pillars, portals, arches. I mean, it's just the same thing. Antiquitech. Bell. Here's another bell. And see, again, the bells seem to have gone. Antenna. I wonder if there's a ball there into a bell. And then, of course, this is just completely just covered. Oh. Look at that. I mean, for the 1800s, so that looks very sort of newish, doesn't it? I mean, the level of this, each picture's just almost got more than the last. Of course, it's been turned Christian and everything, but people through portals. Oh, what the hell's going on there? Looks like that. It's a bit weird. So yeah, all this stuff is all a bit weird and a bit creepy. People through portals. Always naked or in togas. But when you look at the building underneath, it's just ridiculous. Here's someone to show you some size. So standing up, she might be this tall. And look how big the door is. So, you know, who are these even built for? What realm are we in? Did we get brought in here? Because, like I said, the timelines is different. People have theorized maybe there's two worlds that are similar, but different. Again, look at all these small trees that have just been replanted. Got a couple of palms here, but most of this has been replanted. So it's all new, big water feature, old world lamps, again straight into the ground. They always are. And old world buildings. Oh, lots of beer. I wonder if they found that. Oh, look at that. Looks like the Kremlin. So it's so big, I don't know, what is that? A charging station, a healing station, something. But you can see these are just a big version of this. Same thing, just different sizes. There's another one, middle size. Another one there. You see them everywhere, all the domes, all, you know, they're stylized, but they're all the same. And they're just everywhere. You know, here's another tower with a capacitor type thing on top and a aerial. Obviously all this has been retrofitted already. But you know, just even, there's another tower, looks like it's had the top knocked off it. So this has just all been, you know, refaced, cleaned out, had all the stuff ripped off it. This looks a bit low in the ground. Or, okay, look at that line there, going downhill. So this was the old world. Again, there it is, that same shape, that capacitor. There. Have they been smashed? No, lion faces or something. And again, antenna, they've put a little wind vane on it to make it look like it's something else. Ball, dome, pillars, capacitor looking thing, speaker, with a portal. I wonder, okay, so I wonder if the portals are to do with this. To do with getting sound out. You know, a lot of them are covered up too, aren't they? So yeah, is this somehow pulling energy down and running into the middle and sort of pushing the frequency out through this speaker? And here's another shot of the old world. Again, everything seems to be built in these sort of courtyard figurations with, you know, lots of space for people and domes everywhere. Okay, again, you know, all the trees, you know, seem to be newly planted, don't they? Is that, yeah, okay, it's just a random statue in the middle of the street, or in the middle of the dirt, and right on the waterfront there, and again, man-made, you know, shorelines the whole way around. And this is in the 1880s. Imagine how much work that would take to build that the whole way around, and of course, completely built out. Are these streetlights? Oh, look at this. So these are streetlights, but they're all missing their tops by the looks of it. This one's got one, and this one, and this one, but these are all missing their tops. So that's an interesting pick, a bit more Antiquitech here, but so, you know, this is looking like a found city after a mud flood, isn't it? I mean, just look at that. Look at all the mud. And these look like old, you know, dilapidated buildings that have just been found. Hello, kitty cat. And we have, of course, this old wall here that's been built at some point. You know, not only a few small trees that have been newly planted. Just, yeah, old world buildings that are flooded out with mud. And again, man-made walls. So this may have even been a canal, see? Got the walls on both sides and it's been filled in with mud. So there's a cow. That's just a nice scape. Oh yeah, it looks like there's a few buildings. Oh, okay, wow, look at this. There's a big wall down here and a big settlement. See this wall? Looks like a, I don't know, castle bit there. So I wonder what was up in here, because we've got bits sticking out all over the place. And here's another wall and an interesting looking formation. Again, just you know, randomly, why not? Little guy sitting here. Again, these look like the capacitors. Little dome on top. And you know, was this something that, you know, you could just come along and sit in and meditate in and get powered up in? Who knows? But again, pretty of a you know, bleak, treeless landscape. These are obviously new construction, and as you can see, these are just tin and stuff, tin and wood. And on the other side, we have these huge walls, big starfort walls. Look at this, all the way down the hill, all built out. Up here, big turrets, probably, you know, what are the remnants of a castle, what we call a castle. And you can just see the lines here. Okay, got all these different sort of levels and things. And let's see what's up the top here. So we've got something popping out here, which looks like a house. But then up the top here, that's as far as I can go in. But as you can see, that looks like that was something. Oh, and isn't that interesting? Look at that. Can you see all these holes everywhere? Okay, and yeah, so this looks like a lingam from India. Like, there's lots around India that are sort of connected with Hinduism. That looks like a lingam. Very interesting. And there again, there's that same sort of shape. And there again, there's that same kind of shape, and tiling everywhere. Water. Now, these seem to be cats. And this shape as well, we see a lot, this sort of stepped up shape. I see that on a lot of buildings. They're actually built that way. And of course, just, you know, ridiculous artwork everywhere, pillars, and obviously, you know, this is set out in a certain way. When you look at it like that, it does look like a machine. You know, these are all in the right spaces. Got fours here. What's it, 4? Yeah, 3 there, I think. The water through the middle, down to here to the water. Is that the information? Is it some kind of computer? And then we have what looks like a dome on top of here, you know, energizing this. It just, yeah, there's something going on. Okay, here I think this is the same place. And as you can see, you know, it's just the way it's set out. We've got balls here and energy collecting antennas onto domes, which are like speakers, pushing stuff down, funneling it out into water feature here. I mean, yeah. There it is. So yeah, what are these? Not quite sure. So obviously the water used to come out their mouths. These pipes look like they've been retrofitted. It doesn't really look old world, does it? But I mean, look how worn they are. They look pretty old. And you can see the water comes down and goes off in different directions around geometry. That's upside down. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, just the same thing. You know, look, single pillar, double pillars, 3 pillars. You know, it's all this different array and set out a certain way. Even up the top, I mean, maybe this means something, all these different shapes and designs and patterns. Maybe they're saying, you know, something to function. Maybe they're like a circuit board. Who knows? Some more. I mean, and this again, the symmetry we see everywhere with these arches. But look at this. I mean, why? And just the intricacy of it all. Like I said, just to get this done and to get it made would just be such an enormous undertaking. There it is again. And you can see just every inch is covered. And all symmetrical. All just done perfectly. And of course, you know, with the tiling, you know, if that's ceramic, that could be an insulator, because it's all tiled. Could have a double function, of course. Okay, so there were some large trees there. We have a man down here, and he's got his knife out, and he's writing, "Joe loves Mary," in a big heart. But yeah, they're quite tall trees, big wall, and oh, okay, these are small trees. I thought they were bollards for a minute. They've been planted along as well. Yeah, how's that for Moorish? That's just typical classic Moorish looking architecture. You know, this looks like it's been filled in. Have our one man sitting down here. So again, there's hardly anyone here. It looks like it might be a kid. Doesn't look too happy. He's just like, someone stole the water from the canal, man. Where's the water? Because yeah, this looks like a canal. So we've got the, and even the way these steps are done. Can you see how that's an inversion of that shape I pointed out before with the step shape? But that's the inverted shape of it. So geometry has a lot to do with this. Even just these corner bits. Look at that. But how old? Look at this. How old and broken down is this? It's all smashed out. I mean, it's not even smashed. It's like it's worn. Just like it's been sitting there for 1,000 years in the weather. And up here you can see they got gutters, so they got plumbing. And this, you know, was all intricate, but you can see it's all been smashed and broken. Oh, there you go. There's that same shape. Look at that. So it's got both of them. And that's the inverted one down there that we saw in the stairs there. So there you go. Geometry. But yeah, that just looks like it's been sitting there forever. And this guy's just been plonked down there. You're the mayor of a town. Awesome. Oh, but you're the only one in that town. Oh. And again, you know. And again, yeah, symmetry. Look at that. Even like, see the double heights here? I mean, that's kind of ridiculous. And see how they've all got this shape, this at the top going up, but you can sort of gets hidden as it goes down. I mean, just the work to go in, you know, even all this art is all the same down on these pillars. So that's the thing. Why would you build that just to look at? It's definitely got a function. There it is again. I mean, it's just, and this stuff, you know, you see rooms like this a lot. There's actually underneath the where the Crystal Palace used to be in London, there's a train station that looks like that. Here again, this time we've got the three-leaf clover shape. Okay, that's sort of broken in the middle, so it's been elongated, stretched out. But that's that, yeah, three-leaf clover shape. Got a dome here. Looking a bit eye-like. Metal fencing. Pillars. What are these? Oh, so this is like a facade thing, and that's the background. So I don't even know what this building is. Apart from pretty cool. Again, wooden, one of those wooden carved, I don't know, what are they called? Backboards or something? See in the background, this Phoenician guy. Okay, we've got this sort of portal looking thing, got the wreath, got the angel, and got the devil. So again, charge, right? Angel, devil, positive, negative. How does this all work? And are these balls? Yep. Oh, yep. Balls with spires. And even balustrading. What's balustrading? Because it's always carved, this kind of shape. And again, is that something that's been copied that used to be Antiquitech? I mean, just look at this. Like, how do you even start to do something like this? It's just ridiculous. And again, look at this. All these seats have been hand carved, like so intricately. I wonder if these were individual seats and these are the people that used to sit in them. Bit of Antiquitech in the front there. But that's just, I mean, that's just ridiculous. Look at this big tower, massive spire, same thing. Antenna, balls, domes, capacitors. This has got bits of metal hanging off it everywhere. And this, again, looks very old, worn, doesn't look newly built at all. Very much like it's been found. And look at this. This looks like a cathedral that's lost its spires. See the front there? That looks, there's a big speaker door. Looks like a big cathedral front, but then it sort of turns into this funny bit, and it's got a flat roof. You can see here we've got this old Antiquitech stuff that we see, but clearly the top's been smashed off, or it's gone from there. It's been worn off. And see, so it's not, this is old stuff. Here's a cross again. Because this is clearly just worn, just old. So a couple of people. Can't really see if it's flooded. Paved streets. But yeah, this is Spain, 1880, looking very much like, it was found. Here we have some more bells. Can't see the top of that one at the moment, unfortunately. But just a huge tower. And refaced. Had the old face ad the whole way up by the looks of it. So, if you look at this just looks like the windows that we see in, what are called castles. And it looks like someone's just come along and put this, facade, face ad on it. Then horse and cart next to this. And look how low these portal windows are. They're just ridiculous. It's the same old story, just people wandering around, old wooden seats, lazing about, selling their rugs outside this. Outside a building that they would have no chance of designing, let alone constructing. And so here's again, look how old does this look? It just looks really old. Really old in just old, old, old. Oh, look at the crosses in there. Bit of a gargoyle maybe. But yeah, so who built all this stuff? This is, you know, it's now starting to look like this was, and it's all, obviously most of this stuff is oversized, so it's starting to look like this is old. Look at this level here, being flooded at some stage, but this again has got, I've mentioned this before, this has got the old world cobblestone paving, but this is a mud flooded building. Okay, so that means that this has been built, and then the floods come in and flooded it, and then at a later date, this, what we, you know, think is an old world cobblestone road, was laid after the mud flood. Okay, so what are we talking here? That these, and look how old and, you know, weather worn they look. They look 1,000 years old. So, you know, was this built 1,000 years ago? Then we have, and these are just dates. These are not, I'm just sort of pulling these dates out of my head. It's not a timeline, but just say 1,000 years ago, then we have a flood, say 500 years after that, and that floods them. Okay, wipes out maybe the builders. Someone else either takes over, or there's a war or something, you know, because the new owners obviously take over, and they do things like put down the roads and the facade, do all the new facades. And then a few hundred years after that, something else happens. And then we have the last, you know, which turns into the last reset, and we see everyone popping back out in the 1800s. That's what it's starting to look like. Bollards. People standing around for photo opportunities, and again, not many people there. One horse and cart, and look at these buildings. Just, yeah. Even that, look at that. And I bet you that's probably the middle of this fence, or the middle of a section. Oh, okay, there's a gate there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There you go. That's in the middle, number 4. So go through the gate. I don't know. Is that some kind of charging point, or because you can see this whole area. We've got a gate here as well. You know, is that gated off because of some kind of charge or something? Water features. You know, it's just, I just think everything's been, you know, rebranded, like we see, you know, refaced, and including everything, the meaning of everything, umbrellas, swords, you know, everything, buildings, domes, you know, the whole use has been changed. Is that a face? Yeah, as you do, just to, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7-story massive building just up on the hillside. How did they get everything up there? There's no roads up there. Nothing like that. Wow. Oh, holy dooly. And look at this. The steps down there. So clearly this was, yeah, this was something, yeah, some kind of structure that they could get inside. I don't know if it was factory or maintenance. Maybe it was part of the bridge. But clearly, look how worn it is. The roof's gone. And it's just all got rubble down here. This smashed, broken down. But just look at the bridge. How long has that been standing there? That's brick. We get these brick lintels like we see, these brick arch lintels. Here we go. Bit of free energy maybe. Even in there, what are they? Doesn't have them. Is that people? And then, I mean, look at this building with these 4 bits sticking out on the corners, the 4 capacitors with domes. So has that been re-roofed? You know, already, because obviously this is old found city, and we saw that last building had no roof. So has this been re-roofed? Did it used to have a dome or something in the middle? One of these, and this has lost its spire. So clearly everything here is a bit worn down and broken, but just still amazing. I mean, look at that. And again, it's just the same stuff everywhere. Domes, balls, spires, these capacitor things. And the geometry, the shapes, and that's might be tile. It looks serrated, I don't know. It might be tiles, ceramics, and man-made shorelines. And look how high those walls are, even here with supports. So they probably all have these. We just don't see them because they're under the water. So there's a lot of work goes into just these man-made canals, you know, towers. And look at that building. And this was all found. Clearly this was all found. Okay, we've got an army here popping through portals. They're ready to go. What have we got up here? Rooster. Oh, gargoyle hiding up there. And see how this is all, you know, columns, bricks, stone. And what's the roof? Wood. See that? It's wood. So, and there too. So has this been re-roofed? And here's a shot of one of the streets. Not sure what this is here. Yeah, I don't know. Just a stand with like a little vase on top of it. And you do see this sort of shape around a lot as well, don't you? These kind of, what are they called? Jars, vases. And again, look at this. Just people sitting in the middle of the street under a piece of cloth with a few bits of air. You know, some old donkeys in this old rickety sort of cart. Are these just, I think these are just the shops. All these markets and that, you know, just, this is for shade. But look at the buildings. Just these, you know, 5-story buildings everywhere. Who built them? Streetlight. Oh, and it looks like we may have come to the end of our little adventure. So yeah, I mean, how was that? That was not a bad little book. How's that Antiquitech we saw? So this was just throughout different parts of Spain, 1880s. And just to, yeah, show you sort of what it looked like and all the Antiquitech they had. And it was pretty cool, pretty going on, but also, I mean, clearly it's been found and cleaned up because you saw some of those buildings, how dilapidated they were. You know, they'd obviously been just left and then found and fixed up and claimed, renovated. And yeah, so the old world disappeared and turned into the new world, and people were introduced and given a new story. They were given his story, and that is not our story or indeed her story. So thanks for spending some time with me, guys. I hope you enjoyed that little romp through the past. Have a spectacular day, and I'll catch you all on the next upload. Bye for now.